American Comics. Bug Arkham, Patient Batman. Chapter 81. Demons, especially archdemons appearing in the human world, usually manifest by possessing human bodies as spiritual entities. And now, the archdemon possessing Sarah was torn in half by Lan Chi, and its spiritual body was rapidly dissipating. I'll find you. When I find you, I'll figure out what the fool you are. The demon's roar echoed in his ears, but Lan Chi paid it no mind. He survived, successfully tearing the archdemon's spiritual body in the human world into two halves. But as the demon died, something seemed to continuously pour into his body from the air. He felt his brain was already full, simply not enough. The normal state he was in, due to being choked by the demon, also became abnormal as his mental state continuously improved. In other words, the fundamental reason Lan Chi suffered from mental illness was because he was too mentally stimulated. Your Batman armor caused Constantine, Chaz, Tai Chi, and Nergal's emotions to fluctuate violently, emotion value +50. Who? Something felt wet on his face. What's going on? Cold, icy rain lashed haphazardly against his face, making crackling sounds. Lan Chi blinked, looked at the little girl in front of him, who had returned to her original state, and then looked at his surroundings. Holy shit. Am I that awesome? I actually tore that guy apart directly. Shit. Lan Chi, you're really amazing, that terrifying demon was instantly taken care of by you. Tai Chi covered half his face and jogged over through the rain. His swollen half face wasn't obvious just now, but now that he ran in front of Lan Chi, it looked as swollen as a pig's head. Tai Chi, why is your face so swollen? Lan Chi was stunned when he saw Tai Chi's appearance. Tai Chi's left face was highly swollen, even higher than Lan Chi's fist. There was also a dark slap mark on it, as if an Indian had touched it with a hand that had just wiped their ass. I don't know what's going on. Tai Chi was on the verge of tears. Half of my face seems to be numb, Lan Chi. Lan Chi turned his head to look at Constantine and Chaz next to him. Why is my fellow patient like this? Master Kong, is there any way to help him recover? Constantine was startled by the words. Master Kong. Was he talking about him? How did he become Master Kong? You can call me Constantine, or you can call me John, but I'm not called Master Kong. Alright, Master Kong, quickly help Tai Chi, what exactly is going on with this half of his face? As if remembering something, Lan Chi added, oh right, we also came to you to help us treat our mental illness. Chaz said you were the best psychiatrist. Chaz crawled over and said to Constantine, you told me you often went to mental hospitals before, and you even counseled many female demons. This kind of thing looks like something a psychiatrist would do. It's not possible that you're a mental patient, is it? Constantine. Chaz, I think you should just die. Sorry, he really was a mental patient. We'll talk about treating mental illness later. Although I often go to mental hospitals, I am also a mental patient. Although he had deceived countless people, he felt he shouldn't deceive these two mental patients. Moreover, he had just had several bones broken by that demon, and even his internal organs were injured. He had to treat himself first. It's just that. I understand everything. Although your deception is superb, I still understood your meaning. Lan Chi, with a wise expression, analyzed it eloquently. You say you're a mental patient, but what mental patient would be like you, not mental at all? Only those psychiatrists who are mentally exhausted and half dead from being tormented by mental patients would be like you. So the scheming frog has always been touching your stomach. Tai Chi, what is a scheming frog? Oh, that was Japanese just now, Lan Chi explained. So Constantine, you must be a psychiatrist. Constantine. Alright, whatever you say. I am indeed a psychiatrist, you've seen through me. From the situation just now, this mental patient in front of him must have some secret. Just that calmness and killing intent from earlier made Constantine feel lingering fear. Not to mention that Lan Chi could actually touch spiritual bodies with his hands and finally tear that archdemon in half. This almost made Constantine think the other party was a saint reborn, or an angel descended. But looking at Lan Chi's strange mental state, it didn't seem like either of those situations at all. Could it be that the other party was able to achieve that level just now by relying on an incredibly vast mental suppression? He didn't understand. However, he could probably use the excuse of treatment to see what was going on with this guy. He looked at Tai Chi, whose half-face was highly swollen, then placed the lighter in his palm and extended his hand, wetting it with rainwater. Your friend's face should have been eroded by that demon just now, which caused half of his cheek to become like this, Constantine explained. Can it still be cured? Tai Chi asked eagerly. Don't worry, it definitely can, it's just a little painful. What does that mean? A little painful. Tai Chi was stunned by the words. But the next second, the rainwater soaked with the silver cross lighter was slapped hard onto his highly swollen half-face by Constantine's palm. Sizzle sizzle sizzle. Like meat placed on a scorching hot griddle, sizzling sounds continuously emanated. At the same time, white smoke also rose. Ow! A pig-like scream came from Tai Chi's mouth. Tai Chi, deep breaths, pain is normal. Lan Chi comforted him from the side. It's not you being treated, of course you can stand and talk without your back hurting. Tai Chi retorted. You're wrong about that. What's wrong? My back doesn't hurt when I sit and talk either. Tai Chi. Sometimes, he really had an urge to shut this fellow patient's mouth. As for what he would use to plug it, it depended entirely on his mood. It could be a toilet plunger, or some other strange thing. Not long after, Tai Chi's highly swollen face had subsided by more than half. Only the dark palm print on his face made him look somewhat hideous and terrifying. Splash splash splash. The rain was getting heavier and heavier. The group hurriedly carried Sarah, the girl who had just been possessed by the demon, back into the villa. There were also 2 middle-aged men and women, and a 16 or 17-year-old boy in the villa, who were clearly Sarah's parents and older brother. In the villa living room. Mr. Drake, the matter of your daughter being possessed by a demon has been resolved by us. Now it's time to discuss the remuneration. Constantine, looking bruised and battered, sat with Chaz, facing the Drake couple. Lan Chi and Tai Chi, on the other hand, sat seriously on the sofa, watching the news broadcast on TV. Arkham Asylum attacked by unknown armed forces, causing some mentally ill criminals to escape from prison. Even most mentally ill criminals obtained weapons stolen from the Gotham Armory earlier, causing a riot at Arkham Asylum. Tim Drake of Gotham had excellent high school grades. With both parents alive and a younger sister, Sarah, his life was so ideal it turned the Gotham superheroes green with envy, especially that Batman freak. The only imperfection was the strange noises coming from his sister's room these past few days. Soon after, a man in a beige trench coat came to his house, ready to perform an exorcism. Before, Tim had scoffed at such mystics, believing them to be scammers who preyed on the elderly. But today, he had truly seen a demon with his own eyes. So, you want to learn magic from me? Constantine looked at the 16-year-old boy in front of him with a strange expression. Tim nodded, his eyes shining with determination. Give me a chance. I had no choice before, but now I want to be an exorcist, contribute to the great cause of exorcism, and benefit humanity. Is that really about benefiting humanity? You're clearly just greedy for his exorcism spells and various magic rituals. Lan Chi turned to look at Tim beside him, his face full of disdain. You're despicable. Lan Chi is right, you are despicable. Tai Chi echoed from beside him. Tim, was a model student at Gotham Heights High School. How could he be greedy for such things? You two are wearing Arkham Asylum patient uniforms, so I won't bother arguing with you. Using magic comes with a great price, a price you cannot bear. Constantine shook his head, refusing Tim's request. After settling the payment with the Drakes and adding an exorbitant medical fee, he pocketed his dollars, stood up, and prepared to leave with Lan Chi, Chaz, and the others. Chaz had a bullet lodged in his thigh that needed to be removed at the hospital. And he was also seriously injured and needed treatment. Then when can we meet again? Tim asked, still unwilling to give up. If all goes well, our paths will no longer cross. With that, Constantine turned and left with Chaz and Lan Chi. It wasn't until they reached Chaz's taxi that Tim ran out and shouted at them. But life is never smooth, is it? Interesting kid. Chaz said mockingly as he got into the driver's seat. Your interest has nothing to do with it, just drive your car, you swindler. Constantine took a deep drag from his cigar, slowly exhaling white smoke rings. Cigarettes help to alleviate pain and relieve stress. Although his whole body was filled with pain, he didn't want to numb his physical body with cigarettes. What truly made him want to alleviate the pain were those memories. Those tragic memories related to magic. Behind him, two psychiatric patients sat idly in their seats. Are you going back to treat us now? Lan Chi asked. Just as Chaz was about to say, first, help me get this bullet out. Boom. A tremendous roar came from afar. The sound shook the heavens and the earth, as if some missile had been launched in Gotham City. And in reality, a missile had indeed exploded. It just happened to explode at Arkham Asylum. If Arkham Asylum could speak, it would surely curse the editors at DC Comics. Because no matter which universe's Arkham Asylum it is, it seems to be bombed once or twice every 2 or 3 days. This is truly too tragic. The rumbling explosion continued, but the cell-holding Joker had already been blown open. Looking at the guard blown to death outside the door and the gun lying on the ground. His lips curled upwards constantly, and a twisted smile immediately appeared on his pale face. He. Good. This is truly excellent. Quick. That lunatic has escaped. Quickly catch him, or else it'll be bad later. 2 armed guards rushed over. However, Joker had already picked up the gun from the ground, aimed it at the 2 unlucky men, his insane smile even more terrifying. Hello, guards. He laughed maniacally, simultaneously firing 2 shots. The bullets tore through the air, striking the guards in the chest. Goodbye, corpses. Youth is a wonderful thing. The 2 guards fell straight to the ground, sleeping forever. He. Now it's our turn, the psychiatric patients, to be the doctors, and you to be the patients. Joker laughed madly, rushing towards the end of the corridor, where there was a switch that controlled all the cell doors. Open sesame. Patients, come out quickly, and let our new patients move into the wards for treatment. Almost instantly, countless patients escaped from their cells. And Joker, seeing the guards rushing down from the 2nd floor, immediately raised his gun and fired at them. He. Now it's your turn to be the patients. After killing the guards, Joker headed towards the asylum director's office. Upon entering, he saw a panicked Jeremiah Arkham. Joker's face wore a mad smile, looking somewhat unsettling. Congratulations, Director Arkham, welcome to the Mad Hospital. Your ward is ready. The dark muzzle of the gun pressed against Dr. Jeremiah's head. The cold sensation made the doctor tremble. Not far away, Bane stood on a high mountain, holding a telescope, staring intently at the utterly devastated Arkham Asylum. The weapons have been delivered to the asylum, but it seems the police have already arrived, the Birdman behind him said, frowning. Don't worry, it might seem like a fair fight now, but Bane is here. Bane remained motionless, as steady as a mountain. I will break the balance of this fight, and then, liberate this decaying city in one fell swoop. The madness at Arkham Asylum continued. Having obtained weapons, these psychiatric patients fired indiscriminately in all directions. Bullets thumped into people, or struck the concrete ground, creating small to medium-sized craters. Oh God, what on earth is happening? Jeremiah stared in horror at the scene outside the window. He. God doesn't care about these things, Jeremiah Arkham, now your God is me. Joker. Joker laughed maniacally, his expression incredibly unsettling. You want to replace our madness with restraint, but have you ever considered that if you experienced an incredibly awful day in life, you would be just like us? Joker's eyes, as he looked at the director of Arkham Asylum, were filled with malice. Everyone has a balance of sanity and madness in their heart, my director. Just one blow, enough to destroy the mind, and that balance will tip towards madness. I think you too will become a lunatic embracing madness, just like us. With that, he grabbed Jeremiah. Then he firmly tied the other party's body with a rope, and at the end of the rope, he tied a rifle. The most critical part was that the rifle's trigger was also tied with the rope. As long as this psychiatrist dared to move, a spray of bullets from the rifle would instantly burst from the barrel, turning his head into countless fragments. The new Arkham security system you built is utterly insignificant to us, it's like a hole in a bag. All the things you worked so hard on have turned to nothing in the blink of an eye due to madness. And now, everything you worked so hard to train, everything you accomplished, has collapsed, just like your mind, Dr. Jeremiah, it has collapsed. You greatly increased Arkham Asylum's security measures, trying to prevent us from escaping, but what was the result? This has created the biggest insane jailbreak in Arkham's history. Your own madness will also break free. Jeremiah, believe me, madness is your only freedom. All the freedoms that were once under your strict control will soon escape. Joker's voice was filled with madness and seduction, like a malevolent spirit luring people's hearts. Suddenly, Batman's deep voice came from behind the two of them. Stop talking nonsense, Joker. I know you're the former Red Hood. You should call me Joker, not that Red Hood. I'm not him. I am Jack Napier. A terrible circus performer. My wife was a wonderful woman, but she married a good-for-nothing. A good-for-nothing who couldn't make the audience laugh, a good-for-nothing who couldn't even find a job. I couldn't even provide a stable life for her and our unborn child. It seems that the god just loves to play tricks on those desperate poor people. To buy milk powder for my child, I was forced to join a gang and prepare to rob money. But, she died. On an ordinary morning, my wife was testing a bottle warmer and was electrocuted. My child died with her too. 2 lives lost. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. After hearing this news, I was held at gunpoint and forced to wear that cursed Red Hood. Thankfully, when I fell into that chemical pool, I was reborn. I am no longer Jack Napier, no longer that fooled Red Hood. But, Joker. At this moment, hearing Batman call him Red Hood, Joker unexpectedly replied with anger. You should call me Joker, not that cursed Red Hood. I am not him. He did not like that fool name. But apparently his old opponent Batman did not think so. Joker, you can't escape. Batman held a pitch-black Batman dart in his hand. As long as he threw the dart at Joker's right hand, he would be able to rescue Dr. Jeremiah. However, Joker did not hesitate at all and jumped directly out of the window. And before leaving, he deliberately tugged on the rope. Seeing this, Batman immediately threw the Batman dart. The dart shot out like a bat, cutting the rope that bound the rifle. Bang! A gunshot suddenly rang out. Just 2 centimeters away, Dr. Jeremiah's head would have a finger-sized hole of flesh and blood from the bullet. Batman quickly rushed in. After rescuing Dr. Jeremiah, he gazed at the scene outside the window, his face grim. All the mental patients he had captured and brought into Arkham Asylum were escaping. Freedom. They were all free. Except for one. Dr. Jeremiah, who was guarding them. Freedom. Ha ha ha. I'm free, I'm truly free, ha ha ha. Watching Dr. Jeremiah drool with a dazed look in his eyes, Batman's heart sank. Another victim harmed by Joker. If you really want to cure your mental illness, I think you should write down all those wild ideas in your mind. In the taxi, Constantine said to Lan Chi. But the ideas in my mind are how should I put it, a bit messy, Lan Chi said, frowning. How messy? Chaz, who was still driving, couldn't help but ask curiously. A bit evil, a bit perverted, and a bit bizarre, Lan Chi said, a little embarrassed. Just like a pure Xiaochunan meeting an understanding older sister, shy and secretly flirtatious. It's all right, you're a mental patient, this situation is very normal, I used to have this kind of situation too. Constantine immediately advised Lan Chi not to have any concerns, speaking as someone who had been through it. So you also have such evil thoughts. Lan Chi's eyes lit up. Tai Chi, next to him, suddenly felt a little uneasy. Indeed. I want to write it down now. Just now I thought of a story where a criminal cultivates ancient Eastern martial arts, then beats up Batman, forces Batman to wear pink lace underwear, and severely humiliates him in front of all of Gotham City. I feel like I can even find someone to publish this book, and then more people will understand ancient martial arts. This string of words came out instantly, directly dumbfounding Constantine. No, I understand every word you said, but why, when combined, do I not quite understand it? Force Batman to wear pink lace underwear. And then be severely humiliated by a criminal in front of all of Gotham City. You're truly perverted, truly bizarre. Not only Constantine, but Chaz also looked at Lan Chi in the back through the rearview mirror with a strange gaze. As expected of a mental patient, the thoughts in his head are so shocking. How about it? I'm also planning to write this story and then find a publishing house to help me publish it. Whether it's in our place or in this Gotham, Lan Chi said with some excitement. It seemed that just thinking about the book being published would elevate the meaning of his life. At that time, people would no longer call him a fooled mental patient, but rather, writer Lan Chi. It just sounds like it elevates his status quite a bit, making him feel great inside. Looking at Lan Chi's excited face, Constantine swallowed, then nodded. Not bad, your idea is very good, I believe this book will definitely be a bestseller in Gotham. He didn't know if it would be a bestseller, but he knew Batman would definitely come looking for this mental patient. You two should go back to Arkham Asylum for now, remember to use my method to record the evil thoughts in your minds in the form of a story. Constantine looked at the traffic jam ahead and prepared to have Chaz send these two mental patients back. Only. The thought process of mental patients is simply beyond the comprehension of normal people. With a bang, the car door was instantly opened. The two mental patients just got out, fresh as a daisy. Don't worry, Constantine, when you see us next time, perhaps Tai Chi and I will have become great writers. After speaking, Lan Chi led Tai Chi forward. Constantine. This guy is too energetic, his thought process is absolutely extraordinary. No wonder he can directly control the spiritual body of a great demon with his physical body. It must be the influence of his abundant spirit. That's right, in Constantine's conjecture, Lan Chi became like this entirely because his intelligence was too high, his spirit was too strong, and his brain was too weak. Just like a computer. The CPU is too strong, the motherboard is garbage. This completely limited the CPU's performance, thus causing Lan Chi to become a mental patient. Furthermore, the scene Constantine saw earlier in the bloody space also appeared in his mind. Lan Chi, wearing the pitch-black Batman armor, had cold eyes and none of his current goofy appearance. Constantine was certain that at that time, Lan Chi's mind was definitely affected by that great demon, causing a momentary overclocking. Combined with how that evil spirit was devoured by Lan Chi's body before. Perhaps Lan Chi himself is a naturally powerful exorcist with an extremely strong spirit. Just like that woman, Lan Chi was unaware of Constantine's conjecture. At this moment, he was just constantly thinking about the development of the story in his mind, while also wearing a perverted smile on his face. Coupled with the Arkham Asylum patient uniforms they were wearing, this further scared the old Gotham City gangsters on the street. Shit. Those lunatics who escaped from Arkham Asylum are on the streets. Let's run. Run for what? Why not just shoot them dead? What are you talking about? If you shoot them dead, what if those lunatics from Arkham Asylum come after us? Just because the police don't care about these things doesn't mean those lunatics don't care about them. Have you forgotten how Kevin from the Red Rose gang shot and killed a mental patient from Arkham Asylum last time, and then Joker stripped him naked and hung him in the sewer, letting rats gnaw at his for a month? Looking at the people running around, Lan Chi's expression remained unchanged, still with that perverted smile. After all, when he and Tai Chi first came to this Gotham City, they had already experienced this feeling. Now, for him, it was just reliving the path they had taken. Only. Lan Chi widened his eyes, looking at the dilapidated Arkham Asylum. Not far away, a group of lunatics were fleeing. He vaguely heard these guys constantly shouting about freedom. Some mental patients even held firearms and continuously shot at the police. Holy shit. What the fool happened? Did the lunatics from Arkham Asylum collectively escape? For Batman, today was definitely the worst day. Having lost his assistant, he encountered a large-scale breakout of mental patients from Arkham Asylum. Whether it was a conspiracy or fate no longer mattered to him. Because those heinous lunatics had already escaped. And each of them was armed, ready to wreak havoc in his Gotham. This was already a very bad situation. However, something even worse appeared before his eyes. Oh no, it was two even worse mental patients. Batman, why are you here? Are you also here for treatment? Tai Chi scratched his somewhat pointed head and asked. Are you stupid, Tai Chi? So many mental patients just ran out. This guy is obviously here to have fun with those mental patients, how could he be here for treatment? Lan Chi guessed. The expression on his face was as innocent as a serious elementary school student. But the words he spoke made Batman's eyebrows twitch, making him almost unable to maintain his composure. Batman. Although he understood the logic of what this guy said, why did the words coming from this mental patient's mouth sound so wrong? Is he not here? The experienced Batman kept looking behind them when he saw the two mental patients. But he saw nothing. Oh, he's still over there maintaining order, fighting corruption and crime, Lanchi replied. He knew Batman was referring to Silent Bat. Unfortunately, Silent Bat seemed to have met a formidable opponent over there. Yes, we too are here to find a psychiatrist for treatment. We just met a good doctor with unique skills and methods, and then. Tai Chi chattered on, wanting to continue, but the agitated Batman now had no patience to listen to these things. Now Arkham Asylum has been breached by others, and the doctors who could originally treat you are also a bit abnormal. What the fool? Our psychiatrist has become a mental patient. Lan Chi's face was full of surprise. Then what do we do? Who did this? Without a psychiatrist, how could they cure their mental illness? It's simple, if they both just cure the psychiatrist, wouldn't that work? This sounds simple, but in practice. Dr. Jeremiah has turned into a madman, what about Dr. Hugo? Lan Chi asked the Batman beside him. Hugo Strange, I haven't seen him, Batman frowned and shook his head. But then, Commissioner Gordon ran over from not far away. Shit. Batman, all those mental patients have escaped, and they even killed many of our guards. Seeing the Arkham Asylum patient uniforms on Lan Chi and Tai Chi, a smile appeared on his face. You caught these two mental patients so quickly. As expected of Batman, if this city didn't have you, I really can't imagine what it would become. Tai Chi. Didn't they come here on their own? Why, in the eyes of this old guy, were they fiercely suppressed and then captured by Batman? Old guy, we came to find a psychiatrist ourselves, we weren't caught by Batman, Lan Chi pouted and explained. Gordon looked at Batman with a face full of surprise, his expression seemingly asking, is what this mental patient said true or false? He's telling the truth, Batman said in a low voice. It was well known that Batman never lied to Gordon, at most he just withheld some minor information. And now, he had indeed kept the fact that Lan Chi and Tai Chi were mental patients from a parallel world a secret. I thought you saved the city again. But now that all these mental patients have escaped, I'll trouble you to save the city again. Whatever support you need, I'll help you as quickly as possible. At this point, Gordon paused, then continued, also about Jason, you really don't need to be too sad. Batman silently looked at him, and after a while, slowly spoke. I will handle my emotions. Also, regarding Dr. Hugo Strange, have you seen him or do you know his whereabouts? Gordon frowned and replied, Dr. Hugo seems to have been captured by an escaped madman. What? Lan Chi's eyes widened, grabbing the old Gordon's shoulders. Do you know which fooled mental patient captured Dr. Hugo? Commissioner Gordon was suddenly grabbed by the shoulders by this mental patient and shaken repeatedly, his heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Is this mental patient's mental state so unstable? This, patient, please calm down first. I can't calm down at all. Which fool took Dr. Hugo away? I'm going to rescue Dr. Hugo right now. Lan Chi was full of anger. Even Tai Chi beside him couldn't help but feel a headache. Shit. They were about to find a doctor to treat their mental illness, but then they ran into this mess. This was simply God toying with the two of them, two mental patients. And even toying with them with toys. Don't be so anxious, we're also investigating which mental patient took Dr. Hugo away. Commissioner Gordon calmly removed Lan Chi's hand. Why is this mental patient so strong? He felt like his brain was almost shaken into a paste by the other party. Lan Chi, let's go find him ourselves. Otherwise, what if Dr. Hugo gets first and then killed, then again and killed by those mental patients? Tai Chi immediately prepared to go with Lan Chi to find Dr. Hugo. You two can't go out now, those madmen are too dangerous, and you two are wearing Arkham Asylum patient uniforms, which might make other police officers mistake you for madmen who escaped from Arkham Asylum, Batman said. Although what he said made sense, how could mental patients listen to him? Please. He's just Batman, not a psychiatrist, why should mental patients listen to him? The two mental patients immediately rushed into the distance. However, Batman was indeed Batman, he immediately noticed their movements and instantly rushed towards the two like a giant, pitch-black bat. You two, don't mess around. Quick. Tai Chi, dive into this door. Seeing Batman about to catch up with them, Lan Chi quickly rushed towards a door, threw it open, and then slipped inside. Immediately after, Tai Chi also didn't hesitate at all, directly opening the door and rushing in with him. Seeing the two mental patients rush there, Batman immediately rushed over, instantly opened the door, and prepared to go in as well. Only. Behind the door was only an empty, messy corridor filled with rubble and bloodstains. The surroundings were completely silent, there were no two mental patients at all. Batman looked at the empty corridor ahead with confusion, his small head filled with great doubt. Where are these two mental patients? Do you remember the bug skill Lan Chi drew out before? Steve's portable space. It's okay if you don't remember, now you can. Bug skill 3. Steve's portable space. Description. Can freely enter Steve's portable space with items or oneself through a door. Can only be used once a day. Current level 1. One item placed in personal space or oneself entering personal space can obtain half an hour of safe time, can be upgraded by adding points. After upgrading, personal space expands by 1 grid. That's right, the reason the two mental patients disappeared was because they both entered Steve's portable space. Even the pager was almost crushed by them. Lan Chi, how can you still bring me to a place like this? Tai Chi widened his eyes, looking at the pitch-black surroundings. He could feel the space around him was a bit crowded, and it seemed like Lan Chi's butt was right in front of him. Tai Chi reached out and touched, feeling something was not right. Shit. Tai Chi, you still say you're not cunning. Why are you touching my butt? Lan Chi cursed angrily. Tai Chi. Could he say he touched it because he wanted to see what was in front? It was pitch black here, who could know what was in front? Oh shit. Sorry, Lan Chi, I didn't mean to. Then you did it on purpose. I really misjudged you, Tai Chi, I didn't expect you to actually. I can't even see what's going on here, and after Dr. Harleen's treatment last time, didn't you say my romantical orientation had been straightened out by Dr. Harleen? Tai Chi said, feeling a little wronged. He was just a little mentally abnormal, how could he be gay? Alright, let's not talk about this, we still need to find Dr. Hugo. Lan Chi deeply detested the mental patient who took Dr. Hugo. This kind of guy was too selfish. To treat his own mental illness, he just took the doctor away, completely disregarding the lives of other mental patients. It's truly awful. Did he think that by taking the doctor, he could cure his own mental illness? Lan Chi, how do we find Dr. Hugo? We have no clue at all. Tai Chi asked. Lan Chi was immediately dumbfounded by the question. He wasn't Batman, he didn't have citywide surveillance and wiretaps, nor did he have intelligence from the police station. In the dark, there was indeed no way to find Dr. Hugo Strange. However, although he was a mental patient, he was still a transmigrator after all. Which place in a city, especially a city like Gotham, has the most intelligence? That would naturally be bars. Go to a bar to find intelligence. Tai Chi was a little confused. Look, who are the most people in a bar? Prostitutes. Can't you control your little head down there? Can't, it's more suitable for being human than I am. Lan Chi. As expected of you, Tai Chi. You can actually say that is more suitable for being human than you. Of course, the most people in a bar are those drinking. Makes sense. Makes sense, my ass. Tai Chi, why have you become so idiotic? Where's the you with near demonic intelligence from before? Hearing Lan Chi's words, Tai Chi scratched his head. I don't know either. Alright, bars are a mixed bag, there are all sorts of people drinking, and you can hear some explosive news, see where there are big beauties. Who? Where there's a lead on Dr. Hugo. Lan Chi explained seriously. Which bar do we go to then? Tai Chi asked. They were still in this pitch black and cramped place, how were they going to get out? And after getting out, which bar should they look for? Let's get out first. Batman can't find us, so he should leave here. Then we'll just go out, and whichever bar we find, that's the one we'll go to. Although Lan Chi had a plan to find intelligence, sorry, he was a mental patient. His brain wasn't good, and he didn't plan much. Half an hour later, the two mental patients finally walked out of Steve's portable space. Being in here for so long, it made me a little hungry. The short Tai Chi rubbed his stomach, hunger filling his gut. Me too, but we'll be able to eat something once we find a bar. Lan Chi led Tai Chi out of Arkham Asylum. But we don't have money, how can we eat? Will you eat it if someone gives us a bullet then? Don't worry, there won't be bullets. Tonight's bill is on young Master Wayne. The two walked slowly on the road. The piercing sound of police sirens came from not far away, and even the sound of gunshots was gradually fading. It was already a dark night, and the neon lights on the street corners had already begun to flicker. The two mental patients didn't know how long they walked until they finally saw a bar with colorful neon lights flashing. Tai Chi. We found a bar. Lan Chi shouted excitedly, rushing towards the bar like a madman. Tai Chi was not to be outdone. It must be said that if these two mental patients replaced America in this year's Olympic short distance running competition, perhaps even those black people might not be able to outrun them. Seeing that they were about to reach the bar, both Lan Chi and Tai Chi's faces showed smiles. However, what the fool? Gay bar. Lan Chi's eyes widened as he looked at the bar's colorful sign, his face full of disbelief. A string of English letters flashed above. Gay house. What's wrong, Lan Chi, is there a problem here? Tai Chi asked, somewhat at a loss. Don't you know what kind of people are here, Tai Chi? Lan Chi turned to look at Tai Chi, his small head filled with great shock. I know, but this is America, isn't it normal? Tai Chi said as if it were a matter of course. In America, there are many gay bars. There are 97 genders here, and even absurd genders like Walmart shopping bags and attack helicopters. Don't you know about such things? Tai Chi's face showed some confusion. Nonsense. After being locked up in Arkham Asylum for 2.5 years, how could I know about these things? And this is a parallel world, not our original world. I didn't expect it to be so fantastical either. Lan Chi's eyes widened, feeling like he was a small knife cutting a butt. His horizons were greatly expanded. However, the gay bar still exceeded his imagination. Have you ever seen a big man wearing a pink gothic Lolita dress, with a large tuft of chest hair, a round face with a beard, standing 1.90 meters tall, and with a body full of sturdy muscles? Lan Chi had. Not to mention a few other muscular men next to him wearing black cheongsams. That scene. In short, Lan Chi felt he couldn't look anymore. One more glance, and he felt like he was going to explode. Compared to Tai Chi next to him, he was still a little too normal. Although he didn't value his butt much, it still had to serve a purpose. If a big shot psychiatrist said he wanted Lan Chi's butt and then helped him treat his mental illness, then Lan Chi would offer his butt without a second thought. He would even offer Tai Chi's butt. But the problem was, it was full of gay men here, and there wasn't a single psychiatrist. This made Lan Chi feel very uncomfortable. Tai Chi, why don't we leave quickly? He pulled Tai Chi, who was happily chatting with others. Leave? Why leave? I just got some information. Tai Chi was clearly enjoying himself too much to think of leaving. These guys who released their true nature were simply his soulmates. What information did you get? Lan Chi asked, a little confused. Oh, they said Mad Hatter might know who captured Dr. Hugo. Then do you know who Mad Hatter is? Do you know where he is now? Jervis Tech, that's me in this parallel world. As for him now, he should be holding a tea party at Tunnel Manor. Lan Chi ultimately couldn't stay in that gay bar for another second. He really couldn't stand a group of muscular men wearing lowly dresses or two-piece bikinis. That scene was truly too beautiful, explosively beautiful. Lan Chi felt that this kind of scene had caused a huge critical hit to his young heart. I should have known better than to go in. He desperately shook his head, wanting to shake the images out of his mind. But unfortunately, sometimes being too sharp-witted resulting in too good a memory was also a vexing thing. Those scenes that made straight men explode were like a nightmare, lingering in his mind. Shit. I should find a few hot babes now and have a good time. Lan Chi, didn't you just say you were going to find the Mad Hatter? Tai Chi was holding the fried chicken he got from the bar, just about to open the bag, when he heard Lan Chi talk about finding hot babes to exchange human biological science and technology with. Where did you get this fried chicken? Lan Chi casually took the fried chicken bag from Tai Chi's hand and asked. Oh, I was chatting quite well with a guy at that bar just now, wasn't I? He gave me this bag of fried chicken, it seems he just bought it, and it's still hot. Tai Chi replied. Given by those male lawless in the gay bar. Lan Chi's face immediately turned a little horrified. Shit. Good thing I didn't eat it, there must be something in there that makes you feel weak and hot all over after eating it. Is it that exaggerated? Tai Chi frowned, somewhat disbelieving. He was hungry now, and there was a bag of fried chicken right in front of him, which would be perfect to fill his stomach. Lan Chi, you can't say bad things about them just because you're holding the fried chicken. Even though they're gay, I feel like they're pretty normal. As soon as these words came out, Lan Chi immediately widened his eyes and looked at Tai Chi. You call a muscular man wearing a gothic lowly dress normal? It seemed Tai Chi's illness was still too severe, he actually thought such a guy could be normal. Tai Chi, I'm not discriminating against gay people, I just think that gay people in bars definitely have some ulterior motives. Lan Chi explained. You know, it's like how every mental patient in a mental hospital has something more abnormal about them than ordinary people. Seeing that Tai Chi still looked unconvinced, Lan Chi immediately pulled out a piece of fried chicken from the fried chicken bag and threw it directly to a homeless man by the roadside. The disheveled homeless man was overjoyed at the sight, and quickly stuffed the fried chicken into his mouth, fearing that Lan Chi and Tai Chi, the two mental patients, would go back on their word. Only. Not long after eating the fried chicken, the homeless man felt hot all over, and his body gradually became soft. You two gay guys, you actually drugged this fried chicken. He tremblingly stretched out his finger, pointing at Lan Chi and Tai Chi, his face full of horror. The world is degenerating, and people's hearts are not what they used to be. He didn't expect that while he was thinking about their fried chicken, these two mental patients were actually thinking about his. It wasn't us who drugged it, we're victims too, okay. Lan Chi rolled his eyes, then looked at Tai Chi next to him. See, I told you there must be drugs in this fried chicken. Tai Chi also looked at the homeless man, who was gradually starting to get a fever, with some disbelief. Shit. Did that guy really have designs on my ass? Then what about this fried chicken? He looked at the fragrant fried chicken in Lan Chi's hand and swallowed a mouthful of saliva against his will. Can only give it to him then. Lan Chi threw the fried chicken in front of the homeless man. You're lucky, kid. After saying that, Lan Chi pulled Tai Chi, who kept looking back at the fried chicken, and walked towards Taniel Manor. Lan Chi, I'm hungry too, why don't we eat something first? The backs of the two mental patients gradually faded into the distance, their voices also gradually lowering until they could no longer be heard. The homeless man lying on the ground had already prepared himself for his backside to be exposed. But he didn't expect that these two mental patients would just leave like that. And not only did they leave, they even left the drugged fried chicken in front of him. Even though he was a homeless man, there was no way he would eat this kind of fried chicken that had been drugged by gay men. A few minutes later. It smells so good, this fried chicken is really delicious. The homeless man ate the fried chicken from the bag in big mouthfuls, his mouth greasy with oil. Who cares? If it's drugged, it's drugged. Anyway, he was a homeless man, and he was dirty all over. Besides mental patients, there shouldn't be anyone who would have designs on a homeless man's backside. Only. As the heat in his body continuously surged, the homeless man kept twisting his body. Suddenly, he touched a strong arm. Oh. I didn't expect you to eat the snack with added ingredients. The homeless man turned his head to look, and his entire body instantly froze. He saw a muscular man wearing a pink gothic lowly dress standing in front of him, with a perverted smile on his face. Not only that, there were also two bald muscular men behind this strong man, with lewd smiles on their faces. Slurp tilde slurp, hee hee, there's something to eat. Homeless man. Oh no, my backside. The two mental patients walked forward along the night. Tai Chi's stomach still rumbled occasionally. Lan Chi, why do those people in front look so sneaky? Tai Chi looked at the crouching, cowering figures in front of the gate of Taniel Manor and couldn't help but ask. They're doing something with a guilty conscience, of course. Lan Chi pouted. Shish. Let's quickly sneak in, find the Mad Hatter, and then ask for Dr. Hugo's whereabouts. Saying this, the two mental patients took advantage of the night and quietly blended into the crowd. They quickly followed a small path to the tea party prepared by the Mad Hatter. Welcome, everyone, I apologize for having you leave your weapons at the main gate, But if the police arrive here before our special guests, I will let you take your weapons. A short man wearing a green suit and a tall green hat appeared in front of everyone, embracing a monkey wearing a plaid shirt. In front of them was a long rectangular table, on which 7 hats of various colors were placed, with 7 chairs beside them. Now, if you can put on the party hats on your seats, our celebration can begin. The Mad Hatter, wearing a green hat, said with a smile. This is stupid, Mad Hatter, I won't wear a hat for anyone. The man in front of Lan Chi said in a deep voice. Exactly. A romantic bombshell next to him spoke at the same time. Lan Chi turned his head to look and saw the magnificent curves on her body. He felt that he couldn't even grasp such large with one hand. You invited us to your party after escaping from prison, saying you could kill Batman. The woman in the black suit, looking heroic and cool, continued to speak. Is this true or false? And where is Batman? What does wearing a hat have to do with killing Batman? The words of rebuttal entered the Mad Hatter's ears. Seeing that none of the people present wanted to wear his hats, his face immediately became distorted. Suddenly, he pulled out an M16 automatic rifle from under the table. As the dark, deep muzzle pointed at everyone, menacing words came out. Put on your hats right now. Now. Immediately. Right away. What is the most important characteristic of a mentally ill person? Temperamental. Cruel and insane. No, their biggest characteristic is abnormality. Anyone abnormal can be called mentally ill. And now, everyone present has escaped from Arkham Asylum. With so many abnormal mentally ill people, what would they do when a mentally ill person points a gun at them? Fly into a rage, slap the other person hard, and then snatch the rifle. Please, they are mentally ill, not idiots. The other party holds the truth in their hand, and they are unarmed, so of course they obediently walk to the table. Lan Chi and Tai Chi, these 2 guys, rushed to 2 positions the moment the Mad Hatter raised his rifle. It's just. You invited 9 people, but only left 7 seats and 7 hats. What does this mean? Aren't you bullying honest people? Lan Chi said angrily. Movie freak and the woman who spoke just now frowned, looking at the 2 people sitting outside the seats. Right. Do you think we mentally ill people can't even be compared to you, not even as good as your monkeys? Tai Chi also spoke up. They both held the Mad Hatter's top hat, but Lan Chi knew that there must be some kind of hypnotizing device inside it. And facing everyone's questioning, the Mad Hatter turned his head to look at the 2 mentally ill people who had not yet taken their seats, his face full of questions. Did he invite 9 people? He couldn't remember. Ever since he got mentally ill, the memories in his mind had been a bit messy. At this moment, recalling the invitations he had sent out, he was sweating profusely, and even his scalp began to itch. The Mad Hatter kept scratching his head, even taking off the green top hat on his head. Hiss, no, my head is so itchy, it feels like something is growing. Could it be that 2 of Batman's undercover agents snuck in? As everyone was discussing, a voice suddenly rang out, instantly breaking the thoughts of these mentally ill people. You are a genius. Tai Chi gave Lan Chi a thumbs up, his face full of excitement. And Lan Chi also gave a seemingly humble response in due course. Not at all, I'm just a mentally ill person. Hearing their words, the Mad Hatter's face froze, and then gradually became gloomy. Oh right, suddenly there were 2 extra people. Then there is only one possibility. Undercover. He remembered, he had indeed only invited 7 people, so the 2 extra guys must be undercover. He tightened his grip on the rifle, a hint of coldness flashing in his eyes. As expected of Batman, he is indeed cunning. Gentlemen, obviously we have 2 undercover agents among us, but it doesn't matter, I, the Mad Hatter, have my own way. The Mad Hatter narrowed his eyes, looking at everyone holding their hats. He was about to speak, preparing to have these guys put on their hats, and then be turned into zombie servants by his hypnotic electronic hat. However, quack. Everyone be careful, the undercover agent has installed some devices in the hats, maybe after we put them on, this fooled hat will explode our heads like exploding watermelons. Lan Chi placed the disassembled hat in the center of the table. Everyone looked over, and indeed saw that the inside of the hat was filled with circuit boards and some devices that looked like signal receivers. Almost at the same time, the gazes of the 9 mentally ill people all fell on the Mad Hatter. It seemed to say, the undercover agent wouldn't be you, would it? Feeling everyone's gaze, the Mad Hatter's scalp tingled, and he tried to explain himself. How could I be an undercover agent? Do I look like an undercover agent to you? Yes. Lan Chi nodded. He looks like a pure undercover agent, and he might even be Batman's undercover agent. Tai Chi stood by, agreeing, while subtly placing the hat in his hand on the table. The Mad Hatter turned to look at these two guys, feeling a bit speechless. It's just that, looking at these two mentally ill people, he felt a bit unfamiliar. Were these two guys in Arkham Asylum? He scratched his not-so-smart head. It seemed that from his dozens of experiences of escaping from and being admitted back into Arkham Asylum, these two mentally ill people didn't look like locals. But they were wearing the orange-yellow patient uniforms of Arkham Asylum. This made the Mad Hatter's brain a bit unable to function. Mentally ill people certainly wear patient uniforms, but would normal people wear patient uniforms? He didn't know. He wasn't a normal person, so how would he know what normal people thought? Wait, what are these two guys called? The Mad Hatter felt that he had finally grasped the blind spot. He didn't even know the names of these two people. So, there is only one truth. The real undercover agent is. The undercover agent is the Mad Hatter. This guy called us over, and even invited Batman. He must want to catch us all in one swoop and hand us over to Batman. The woman who spoke just now continued. This way he can turn over a new leaf, and even become Batman's assistant, Robin. So there is only one truth. Lan Chi stared at the Mad Hatter, who was constantly breaking out in a cold sweat, a perverted smile on his face. The undercover agent among us is you. Mad Hatter. How is this possible? The Mad Hatter retorted subconsciously. Clearly you two are the undercover agents, I don't even know your names. His tone was unusually hurried, and his flustered appearance was like a mentally ill person who had been slandered. See, he still says he's not an undercover agent, inviting us without even knowing our names. Lan Chi looked at the Mad Hatter's somewhat flustered appearance, the smile on his face gradually becoming evil. Only the person who wronged you knows how wronged you are. After all, it was he and Tai Chi who pinned the blame of being an undercover agent on the other party. Shit. I said why Joker and Scarecrow didn't come, it turns out it's because you, this traitor, have already become Batman's shape. Movie Freak threw the hat in his hand at the Mad Hatter with a grim expression. And after being hit by the hat, the Mad Hatter's face became even more gloomy. It seems you still haven't seen the situation clearly. I said, I'm not an undercover agent at all. Saying that, he also held the rifle and fired several shots into the sky. A clip of bullets shot into the sky with bangs, instantly making everyone slightly stunned. Good opportunity. Flying gorilla, go quickly, put the hats on their heads. While everyone was stunned, the Mad Hatter's pet monkey immediately picked up the hats on the table and quickly rushed towards them. Fool monkey, don't put that hat. Awoo. It's hard to imagine that these mentally ill people couldn't even beat a monkey. Several mentally ill people were forcibly fitted with hats by the Mad Hatter's monkey. Movie Freak and the other 6 mentally ill people immediately widened their eyes, opened their mouths, and looked dazed. They clearly looked like they had been controlled. And you two undercover agents. The Mad Hatter turned his head and aimed the rifle at Lan Chi and Tai Chi. It felt good slandering me just now, didn't it? It did feel a bit good. Lan Chi nodded, saying noncommittally. It's quite satisfying to wrong people, especially to wrong someone like you. Tai Chi said. Mad Hatter. Shit. Don't these two mentally ill people know that a wise man submits to circumstances? Our players. Lan Chi, Tai Chi. Opponent players. Mad Hatter, Pet Monkey +7 controlled mental patients. The disparity in strength between the two sides was so great that the outcome was clear at a glance. Not to mention, Mad Hatter still held the truth in his hand. And when Lan Chi and Tai Chi came in, the Glock pistols tucked into their waists had already been confiscated. With such a huge disparity in strength, it looked like two poor mental patients were about to be manhandled and exoed from all directions. Even Mad Hatter couldn't help but reveal an arrogant smile when he saw the vast difference in strength. I have 9 on my side, plus a rifle, and you two only have 2. 9 against 2, the advantage is mine. How are you two fooled undercover agents going to make me lose? We're not undercover agents, Lan Chi said calmly. We're just mental patients who want to find a doctor to treat our mental illness. What kind of mental patient would want to treat their own mental illness? How could your situation possibly be a mental illness? Mad Hatter didn't believe Lan Chi's nonsense at all. He was also a regular at Arkham Asylum, and he had never seen a patient actively seeking treatment for their mental illness. How could a mental patient possibly want to cure their mental illness? After getting a mental illness, everyone became more and more energetic. Young men became energetic young men, and young women became energetic young women. Just like Joker and Harley Quinn, they constantly caused trouble for Batman in Gotham. How exciting is that life? If they cured their mental illness, wouldn't they have to go back to that grueling life of working multiple jobs? Why am I not mentally ill? Hearing Mad Hatter's denial of his condition, Lan Chi immediately became angry. You can insult me, you can curse me, but you can't say I'm not mentally ill. This was his most basic principle. What kind of mental patient would be like you, wanting to live a grueling life after curing their mental illness? Mad Hatter asked in confusion. Can't I just live in Batman's house, in a big villa, with beautiful women, after I cure my mental illness? Lan Chi replied. A series of question marks immediately appeared on Mad Hatter's face. After he reacted, he immediately pointed his gun at Lan Chi, his face expressing, "You're messing with me. Shit. You still say you're not Batman's fooled undercover agents. How much did Batman pay you to fooled mental patients? I'll double it. Are you trying to compare financial strength with Batman?" Tai Chi looked at his parallel self with a face full of doubt. He felt that his parallel self was even sicker than him. Of course, his brain was just as useless. Why did I say, as well? Tai Chi scratched his pointed head, still unable to figure it out. If he couldn't figure it out, he simply wouldn't think about it. There was no need to trouble his already not so smart brain. What? Did he offer you an incredible price? Mad Hatter asked. Nothing, just simply wanted to laugh. Lan Chi and Tai Chi exchanged glances, both struggling to suppress their laughter, shaking their heads there. Don't worry, we're definitely not mocking you. We mental patients have undergone various treatments, and we generally don't laugh out loud. As if seeing Mad Hatter's face growing darker, Lan Chi immediately comforted him. But even if Mad Hatter was mentally ill, he could tell that these two mental patients were mocking him. Their faces seemed to be saying, how dare this guy compare financial strength with Batman? But you fooling laughed. You're still mocking me, aren't you? Mad Hatter narrowed his eyes, a dangerous glint in them. Since I can't buy you off, then. Wait, Lan Chi immediately raised his hand to stop him from doing what he was about to do next. Do you know where Dr. Hugo Strange went? Mad Hatter was stunned, and his hand, which was about to pull the trigger, also stopped. Dr. Hugo Strange. You're looking for that guy. A strange expression appeared on his face. He hadn't expected that after all these years of being mad, he, Mad Hatter, had actually been wrong. These two guys really were mental patients. Otherwise, who in their right mind would look for Hugo Strange? Don't let that guy's white coat and seemingly respectable appearance fool you, he's actually a lunatic behind the scenes. Mad Hatter knew quite a bit about him. This guy conducted genetic research on mental patients and then created those 50-foot-tall, mindless monster men. He hadn't expected that these two guys in front of him actually wanted to find him to treat their mental illness. He wondered which rotten guy came up with that idea. Yeah, do you know which mental patient kidnapped that guy? Lan Chi's face was full of anger. If I find that selfish mental patient, I guarantee he'll be hung naked on Wayne Tower. Exactly, and torture him severely. Tai Chi also looked fierce. Mad Hatter looked at Lan Chi and Tai Chi with pity. Clearly, these two guys didn't know what kind of person the Dr. Hugo they were looking for actually was. He kindly reminded them, Dr. Hugo might be completely different from what you imagine. You need to be mentally prepared. And someone is purposefully releasing all of us from Arkham Asylum. They want to use us, just like using marionettes, copying my classic scenes, to interfere with Batman. Perhaps Hugo Strange is the mastermind. Such a conjecture suddenly appeared in his mind. However, the two mental patients were stunned after hearing his words. Shit. Are you saying this Dr. Hugo isn't a good person either? Lan Chi looked at the short man in front of him, holding a gun, wearing a green suit, and a green top hat. Dr. Hugo is the best psychiatrist, Batman told us that. Are you questioning Batman? I knew Batman had ill intentions. Mad Hatter immediately confirmed that these two guys were Batman's undercover agents. Although not very smart, it was 100% certain that they were Batman's pure undercover agents. And you two fooled undercover agents, you've been talking to me for so long. Your purpose is to stall for time, right? Mad Hatter had already thought of this point, and now, seeing Lan Chi and Tai Chi's reactions, he immediately realized it. He invited Batman to this place, and now, because of these two mental patients, he had been delayed for so long. When Batman arrived, he wouldn't have anything set up. How would he deal with Batman? Mad Hatter controlled the 7 mental patients, while gripping the rifle in his hand, dangerous light gleaming in his eyes. As expected of Batman's undercover agents, you've stalled me for so long. Your purpose is to let Batman catch up, right? But your scheme has been seen through by me. Think about your last words carefully, you're about to die. Lan Chi looked at Tai Chi next to him, and after seeing an, okay, look from him, his lips immediately curved upwards. You said one thing wrong. We're not Batman's undercover agents, we just genuinely want to find a psychiatrist. Mad Hatter didn't believe Lan Chi's nonsense now. Still trying to fool me. Do I look that easy to fool? Monkey. Torture these two guys severely for me. Later, I'll shoot their O with my gun. I'll blow them up, he said to the pet monkey next to him. However, the normally obedient monkey did not listen to him. It just rushed to Mad Hatter's thigh and extended its sharp claws. Immediately after. Ow ow ow. You fooled guy, don't steal my peaches. Steal those 2 mental patients. Hiss. Lighter, it's going to break. The scene of a monkey stealing peaches was completely materialized at this moment. The power of this move, for male creatures, is extremely lethal. It can instantly incapacitate a person, even the king of beasts, the lion and the tiger, will collapse to the ground, completely powerless. Don't believe it. If you don't believe it, shoot the private parts of these 2 animals with a 7.62, and you'll see how lions and tigers react. As long as a fatal injury is struck, even the fiercest beast will collapse to the ground due to the excruciating pain. And at this moment, Mad Hatter had his peaches picked by the monkey he had raised for several years. The intense pain instantly contorted his face into a ferocious expression. But that wasn't all. Lan Chi saw that Tai Chi had hypnotized the opponent's monkey and used a deadly move, so he immediately walked up to Mad Hatter. Facing a significant disparity in strength, Lan Chi believed that one principle must be upheld. That is, strike while the iron is hot. Thus, under Mad Hatter's despairing gaze, the lunatic in front of him heavily elbowed his vital area again. Man. The crash of the prison boss endowed this elbow strike with immense power and a strong, impactful sound effect. Mad Hatter's heart was like the shattered eggs on his body. Pain. It hurt so much. My private parts, why did you? His face flushed, then gradually turned pale. Even his whole body began to tremble. He was originally able to stand on the ground. But after Lan Chi's elbow strike, he could only tremble and collapse to the ground. He opened his mouth, screaming silently. Any normal man seeing this situation would more or less empathize with Mad Hatter. But unfortunately, these 2 men, Lan Chi and Tai Chi, were not normal. However, Lan Chi, is it really appropriate to be so cruel to my parallel world self? Tai Chi looked with some reluctance at Mad Hatter, who was lying on the ground, covering his vital area with a distorted, ferocious expression. Lan Chi slapped Mad Hatter across the face and pulled the rifle out of his hand. Hearing Tai Chi's words, he raised an eyebrow. What's inappropriate about it? No matter if it's a dirty trick or a harmful trick, as long as it can subdue others, then it's a good trick. Besides, it's not your private parts that shattered, it's just your parallel world self. I heard there are many parallel worlds, you might even encounter a female Batman or a female you. A female me. And a female Batman. Tai Chi pointed at himself with one hand, but certain abnormal images appeared in his mind. A moment later, the somewhat dazed Tai Chi revealed a perverted smile. He had no idea what this guy was thinking. The smile on his face became more and more like the perverts in some Japanese movies. Alright, now can you tell me which lunatic took Dr. Hugo? After taking Mad Hatter's rifle, Lan Chi waited for him to recover for a while, then asked again. Mad Hatter glared at him, his mouth opening and closing, but he couldn't hear what the guy was saying. Lan Chi leaned in to listen, but still heard nothing. Did your vocal cords get smashed? He slapped Mad Hatter across the face, and with a smack, directly swelled up his right cheek. He didn't believe that Mad Hatter was unable to speak because of the previous attack. Lunatics aren't normal people, it's just two private parts, the blow isn't that big for a lunatic, is it? He continued to stare at Mad Hatter, preparing to let Tai Chi torment him if he didn't speak. Only. Lan Chi, why do you have this guy's hypnosis device on your neck? Tai Chi's voice was full of surprise, seemingly curious as to when this thing appeared on Lan Chi's body. Lan Chi was stunned when he heard this, and just as he reached for his neck, he saw the sinister smile on Mad Hatter's face. He. My biohypnosis device is already on your neck, I'll be able to control your body soon. You fooled lunatic, you actually attacked my vital area so hard. I'll let you taste what it's like to have your private parts destroyed later. Covering his vital area, Mad Hatter slowly stood up, his face filled with a ferocious expression. What? You want to hypnotize me? My spirit is so excited that even I'm afraid, how can you hypnotize me? Your body has already been hypnotized by me. Since your consciousness is still clear, then you can watch carefully as your own hands crush those two things. And as time goes on, my biohypnosis device will continuously hypnotize your brain. By then, both your body and consciousness will be hypnotized by me. Mad Hatter picked up the rifle on the ground and turned to look at Tai Chi next to him. And you, even though I don't know how you hypnotized my monkey, you actually dared to perform hypnosis in front of me. For this guy who dared to show off in his professional field, Mad Hatter felt he had to teach him a lesson. Your pants are still dripping blood, are you really okay? Tai Chi pointed to the other person's crotch and said. It's just two private parts, for someone like me who is about to rule Gotham, it's not worth mentioning at all. Mad Hatter completely dismissed it. He had collapsed to the ground just now purely because of that intense pain. But now he had adapted to that shattering pain. Mr. Joe Shuren of the East once said. A true warrior dares to face shattered private parts and dares to confront dripping blood. And he, Mad Hatter, was the toughest man in Gotham. Even if his private parts were shattered, he could still turn the tables with his plan. Thereby making these two fooled undercover agents suffer the consequences they deserved. Look, the lunatic who just exploded his private parts is now being controlled by him to reach out and prepare to elbow his own private parts. And from the looks of it, the other party's consciousness will soon be controlled by his biohypnosis device as well. However, fool hand, move for me. You need to know whose body you are, don't be controlled by these external things. Mad Hatter was full of question marks, turning to look at Lan Chi, his voice full of surprise. Shit. How do you still have consciousness? Lan Chi ignored him, instead looking at his own body, trying hard to control his hand from reaching down. But his body seemed to have a mind of its own and simply wouldn't listen to him. It seemed that from a biological instinct, the body had not received Lan Chi's commands. It was simply acting on its own, following Mad Hatter's previous command. Seeing that his body was not under his control, Lan Chi immediately became enraged. In his opinion, this situation where his body didn't listen to him clearly meant that his body was rebelling. It was like in ancient times, when the emperor gave an order, but the local areas didn't move. This situation had to be resolved, otherwise, if the body got a taste of sweetness, what would happen if it continued not to listen to him in the future? A man can't even control his own body anymore. This fooled body, because of a tiny hypnosis device, actually stopped listening to him. Alright. As a body, you dare not listen to me, then I'll show you who the master is. Lan Chi's face was full of anger. 7 or 8 scantily clad beauties with large headlights immediately appeared in his mind. Since you dare not listen to me, fool body, get up. Almost instantly, the right hand reaching downwards was suddenly blocked. Tai Chi's eyes widened as he looked at Lan Chi's current appearance, his face full of disbelief. What the fool? Lan Chi, how did your private parts get so strong? Jokes need to have a limit, whether it's a big limit or a small limit. Louis XVI, the legendary head-turning king, and Wei Zongxian, the legendary eunuch. Oh, I got it wrong. This sentence should have been said by Mr. Lu Xuan. Because, if you don't know who said a certain sentence, then just attribute it to Mr. Lu Xuan. By Zhou Shuren. At this moment, Lan Qi was using his big head to control his small head. His body had been hypnotized by Mad Hatter's biohypnosis device, but fortunately, his small head was still quite obedient to his big head. Otto almost instantly regained his fierce and powerful stance, directly pushing open his right hand. Seeing this scene, Mad Hatter, who was originally confronting Tai Chi, was completely stunned. Why can you still control your small head? It was truly strange. Mad Hatter had controlled hundreds, if not thousands, of people with this biohypnosis device. Why did he stumble today? This was truly the first time he had encountered such a situation. The hypnotized guy could actually still control a local part of his body. It was like a small knife pricking a butt. It really opened his eyes. Of course, it's because I'm mentally ill. Lan Qi snorted coldly. Certain local parts stood tall like Optimus Prime. Even Tai Chi, who was next to him, upon seeing this scene, began to constantly rub his pointy head, his face full of confusion and shock. Shit. Lan Qi, how on earth did you do that? He looked at Lan Qi's body and his big and small heads, each going their own way, feeling a bit bewildered. Logically speaking, a hypnotized person shouldn't be like this. But now, Tai Chi saw such an utterly unreasonable scene. This made him feel like he had been screwed over. It might be related to my mental illness, Lan Qi explained, while using his big head to control his small head, fighting against his own body. You dare to listen to others and not me. It seems you don't know who the master is. In a fit of anger, Lan Qi could even manipulate his small head to bend and relentlessly smash his right hand. Bang! 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 Dull thuds sounded, making both Tai Chi and Mad Hatter feel a throbbing pain in their lower bodies. You dare to listen to others, you fooled body. I think you're trying to rebel. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know who's boss. I'll fool your mother. Do you still dare to rebel? Do you still dare to rebel? Move or not? Will you still listen to others? Hurry up and call me daddy. Tai Chi and Mad Hatter were full of question marks, both looking at each other, seeing the bewilderment on each other's faces. Still not calling me daddy. It seems this fooled body of yours still wants to rebel. Take this. Tai Chi widened his eyes, watching Lan Qi constantly taming his body with his small head. His small head was filled with great shock. As expected of Lan Qi, he was just different from others. Mad Hatter, standing nearby, looked at Lan Qi's crazy scene with an incredulous expression. He instantly believed it. These two guys were indeed mentally ill patients who had escaped and wanted to find a doctor for treatment. I've somewhat misunderstood you too. It's good that you know. Quickly tell us the whereabouts of Dr. Hugo. Otherwise, once Lan Qi completely breaks free from your hypnosis, I feel you're going to be in a very bad state. Tai Chi looked at his fellow patient who had already gained control of one arm, and somewhat dazedly reminded his parallel world self next to him. In front of the two, Lan Qi, who had gained control of one arm, showed a twisted smile. He. Foolish body, you still won't call me daddy. It seems you're still thinking of rebelling. Slap. 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 Lan Qi kept hitting his left hand hard with a certain local part, while fiercely slapping his own chest with his right hand. You fool body, are you scared or not? His body was still resisting, unable to speak at all. Because his big head was being controlled by Lan Qi, and his body had no way to express its suffering. This scene completely made Mad Hatter feel a bit scared. This guy dared to hit himself so hard. If he were to be released from hypnosis, wouldn't he be even more ruthless towards him? Thinking of this, he quickly rushed to Lan Qi's front, ready to stop his actions. But he was slapped twice in the face by Lan Qi's left and right hands. Mad Hatter's face instantly became visibly swollen and red, and symmetrical red slap marks even appeared. He didn't care about the slap marks on his face, only feeling that the mentally ill person in front of him was too incredibly insane. He simply couldn't imagine how terrible his situation would be if he fell into this guy's hands after the hypnosis was lifted. Stop it, I'll help you lift the hypnosis. However, Lan Qi was still fighting against his own body, and had even gained control of both hands. Shit. Let go, I'm about to reclaim my body. Fooled body, how dare you not listen to your master? I'll show you who the master is. Slap. 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 Continuous sounds kept coming from Lan Chi's chest. Mad Hatter was almost scared to tears at this point. How could this guy be even crazier than him? He turned to look at Tai Chi, who was wide-eyed. Shit. Your friend is this sick, and you're not coming to help. Are you waiting for him to beat himself to death? Hearing this, Tai Chi finally reacted and quickly ran to Lan Chi's front, preparing to grab his right hand. And Mad Hatter grabbed Lan Chi's left hand, to prevent Lan Chi from beating himself to death with his hands. But he didn't expect that Lan Chi's crucial part could even bend and hit his own chest. Is this even a human anymore? Lan Chi. Stop it, this guy is already willing to cooperate with us. He'll help you lift the hypnotic state soon. And he's willing to tell us which son of a fool took Dr. Hugo. Yes, hurry up and stop. I'll help you lift the hypnotic state. Don't hit yourself anymore. You're really scaring me a bit. This is a private grudge between me and my body. This guy wants to rebel, so I naturally have to beat it until it calls me daddy. No one interfere. Lan Chi kept hammering this fooled body with his other parts. You fool body, quickly call me daddy. His face was ferocious, striking his own body with heavy blows. At the same time, a white light screen appeared in front of him. Your actions have caused a violent emotional fluctuation in Lan Chi's body, gaining 10 emotion points. Current emotion points, 100. Good, still not calling me daddy, huh? Take this. It must be admitted that the impact of this scene was extremely powerful. Two mentally ill people desperately pulling on the left and right hands of one mentally ill person. At the same time, this mentally ill person's legs and feet were constantly lifting, trying to kick his own hands. What was even more bewildering was that the crucial local part could actually bend and hit his own chest. When Batman saw this scene, he immediately felt that his eyes were defiled. He stood in the shadows, looking at the scene in front of him. He didn't know if he was stunned, or if he felt his worldview was collapsing. In any case, after watching for a few seconds, Batman let out a long sigh. He finally understood why Silent Bat from the parallel world would be jealous of him. These two mentally ill people were just too mentally ill. Especially this one named Lan Chi. Thanks for watching.